my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for not only bringing me here this morning, but also through a hurricane, through a semester of 4 months by myself. I just thank the Lord so much. Secondly, I'd like to thank Brother Carter for allowing me to speak in his pulpit. And finally, I'd like to thank my family who supported me and kind of rushed me to put it together last minute on procrastinating. Today, I will be speaking on love. Love is most clearly explained in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 8. And it reads, love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud, it does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but instead rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be still. And where there is knowledge, it will pass away. I have read 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 8. I first began preparing for this word by taking a survey from my family members of a wide variety of ages on how they interpreted the word love. My first participant was a 5-year-old who proceeded to tell me, well, I don't know, but I love my mommy and daddy, and that better be good enough. And that was good enough answer for me. My next participant was a middle school student who quickly turned my question into some kind of a love advice session. Let's just say I ended that advice by telling her she shouldn't be using that word with her male friends until she could give me a stern definition for the word. Next, I asked one of my fellow college classmates on what love meant to him. He responded by saying, love is like the sacrifice of selfishness, being more concerned for others than about yourself, whether it be lying down your life or taking the time off to help those in need. Giving to others when you have the means to give, and trusting that God will return your gift tenfold. Finally, I asked the wisest person I know, my grandmother. From her wisdom, I gained that love involves truth and honesty and should be real and heartfelt. There are 4 main kinds of love found in the Bible. The 3 that we are most familiar with are agape, eros, and philia. Agape love is unconditional love. It is the kind of love that only God has for us. It is selfless, sacrificial, and the highest of the 4 types of love found in the Bible. Secondly is eros. Eros is the physical, sensual love that should only be shared between a husband and a wife. It is portrayed in the book of the Song of Solomon in the Old Testament. Finally, we have phileo, which means close friendship or brotherly love. Romans 12:10 says, to love one another with brotherly affection, outdo one another in showing honor. Phileo is the type of love that we should be most familiar with as Christians, especially during this Christmas season. Phileo reminds us that the entire human race is defined as our brothers, whether they are our friends or our enemies. We should receive the same amount of love and affection. It just so happens that during Christmas time, we tend to become more generous and show love not only to our family members, but to strangers who may be in need. We've all come into contact with that one person on the side of the road who approaches our car while we stop at the red light. They hold a cardboard sign next to the window which may read, need help. I've lost my job and can't feed my family. Every little bit helps. And at the very, very bottom there, be sure to put, God bless. Makes you question your Christianity. As you read the sign, you contemplate if the story you have read is true at all. And if it is true, but you decide to keep that spare change lying in your cup holder to yourself. Those same couple of points that have been there all week and possibly all month. But out of doubt, you decide to proceed through the red light without giving at all. And possibly because you thought the person behind you was going to give instead. But what you didn't know is that this very incident was a test of your brotherly love, your phileo. It is not our duty to question their integrity, but instead to try to connect with our agape love. Sacrifice those few coins that we no longer need, or else they wouldn't still be there in your cup when you go back to your car after service. I found a quote that I thought was quite interesting regarding the concept of love in the world. People are created to love. Things were created to be used. The reason that the world is in chaos is because things are being loved and people are being used. I'll give you a second to think about that. But yeah, I'll read it again. People were created to be loved. Things were created to be used. The reason the world is in chaos is because things are being loved and people are being used. The American tradition is to buy one another gifts for Christmas to express our love. For some, that meant standing outside for nearly 12 hours in anticipation of the re-release of the retro Jordan 11s that came out on Friday morning. While you were standing in line or online buying shoes or letting your grandson or your son buy them, Were you aware of those that were being placed in danger around the country? In Virginia, a woman left 2 babies locked in her car while she was in line for the new shoes. In Texas, police were forced to pepper spray a crowd of French civilians who broke out into a fight over the shoes. While in D.C. and California, sales had been canceled due to a shooting that took place before those stores even opened. Just imagine if we put that same enthusiasm and love into making it to church on Sunday morning to celebrate the birth of our Savior during the Christmas season. If we had the same love for our church family and the well-being of our church than we did for a pair of shoes. If we tithe regularly, or at least took the time that it took for us to save those nearly $200 to buy those shoes. Just food for thought. But hey, I'm not a preacher, and this isn't a sermon. Just a few words from a broke college student. So I'll leave you with this question. What does love mean to you? Are you loving a thing, or are you loving the people around you? Thank you.